No celebration, no fanfare, was a huge and serious step. After more than 40 years inside,
President pretty striking, Jen, more than
deep breath, the deal to leave is done.
Yesterday, which was just 300.
But those who said,
The reason is because they're going back now through their 911 calls to get four things that were filed in these frantic few hours. I'm not talking about started when it was coming through this town. It may have been set aside, and those voters may not have been ended up, may not have ended up on that eventual very, very important order they wanted to throughout the country. The good news is that many of the people expect the reality is that a lot of these
many of you are bored of the rows,
don't have internet, they don't have TV, they're not following the news
officials
as
brokered the compromise
the rest of us might be, and so they may not even know that they've been reported missing at all. Their main priority is simply finding a place to sleep. Hotel rooms, they're tough to find, shelters are jam-packed. In fact, 4 shelters are experiencing some pretty serious norovirus outbreaks. And so we found a lot of people had just set up camp outside of a Walmart in Chico, California, just down the road from here. They're sitting in their cars, they're sitting in tents. I met a mother who is sitting with her 7-year-old daughter inside her car. She said, hey, it could get worse. You could be in a tent. Well, I also met a grandmother sleeping in her tent, trying desperately to keep her 9-year-old grandson warm. And he told me about what he was most about his house, which has now been
the EU's power players have agreed a Brexit with caveats, a deal where the UK leaves next March, but stays close to the Union, with a lot of final detail yet to be agreed.
The Democratic gubernatorial candidate Andrew Gillum did not wait
the difficult process of ratification
before conceding,
as well as
Democratic Senator Bill Nelson did, because that House still left him more than 10,000 votes out of first place.
And Jim and Poppy, of course, President Trump will be
here
tomorrow. Yesterday, it's not exactly clear where he'll go, but you can bet that he'll meet a lot of people just like 9-year-old Eli and his grandmother. Really struggling at this point. People really do not have to look hard to find folks like
help create the trust and the confidence
needed for
negotiating a close and unprecedented future policy.
The agreement was hard fought on both sides, even though sometimes it feels like EU leaders still can't quite believe what's happening in front of their eyes. It's tragic that the UK is leaving after 45 years, Angela Merkel said.
I'm thankful for a lot of people that right to make sure we stop.
But there may be more theatre to come. MPs at home might kick out a deal. Would they budge here then?
Scott is going to join Senator Marco Rubio up in the upper chamber, and Rubio said the Florida account was really just about 2 counties in Florida disobeying the law, and then lawyers coming down trying to change election law
some of the legal blows that the Nelson camp has seen. Well, Peter,
this is the next we can all do. Both resume victors here today, one winning or losing.
There have been many moments when it has not been clear that Theresa May would make it this far. But her next steps are big, vital to determine her future and for the Prime Minister, there is now only one direction. She can't know if Parliament, the public, follow the law. Laura Ginsberg, BBC News.
They wanted in some of these, they were also out.
Border crossing between Mexico and the United States has been closed after migrants broke through a security perimeter in the city of Tijuana. Tensions have been high since the arrival of thousands of migrants earlier this month. Many had departed from Honduras last month, saying they were fleeing poverty and crime. But earlier I spoke with our correspondent Will Grant about what is happening at the border.
Well, things have gradually getting back to normal after what's been a very, very high intense day in this city. As you said, the migrants set out on a peaceful protest, but they did get past the security border and then crossed the canal in order to reach the border inside the border crossing itself. Initially, they just wanted to sort of make their point known that they wanted their asylum applications dealt with as soon as possible. But some, it seems, were perhaps intent on trying to get across it. The United States side of the border responded by shutting the border down. were shut down in both directions.
really made difference.
And tear gas was fired, and some of the migrants were affected by that tear gas. So yes, it's been a very intense, a very elevated day in terms of the emotions.
Indeed, the emotions are very high on the border, and for these migrants who are fleeing the respective countries, it will be a long wait to see if their asylum applications are indeed accepted by the Trump administration.
Places that had enhanced turnout. There was the two media markets where
that's right. I mean, I'm expecting this to probably go for months. So certainly they will be here for Christmas. Well, it's the new year, and I heard some people at the border who have knowledge of how this works, talking that it would be as far as March before they even began to get a look. And let's bear in mind, those who are crossing now have been here waiting for upwards of 3 months already, and that was before the migrant caravan arrived. And the other thing to bear in mind is that it's not just one caravan now. The second and the third that were behind them from Salvador and Guatemala have caught up with them here in this city. So they're all staying in the same place, and resources are being stretched very, very thinly indeed, causing those tensions to grow.
Congratulating Andrew Gillum.
And there in Tijuana, also making news today, the Ugandan president believes the operators of an unlicensed vessel which capsized on Lake Victoria will be prosecuted. At least 29 people are known to have died and many are still missing. The vessel is designed to transport 50 people, but it's said to have been carrying more than double that. The deadliest and most destructive wildfire in California's history has now been fully contained. The blaze, known as the campfire, started more than 2 weeks ago. Firefighters were able to extinguish the flames following several days of rain. The fire killed at least 85 people, destroyed thousands of buildings. Almost 250 people are still unaccounted for. Rallies across Europe have brought tens of thousands of people onto the streets to mark the United Nations Day for the elimination of violence against women. Marchers in Paris called for an end to impunity for abusers. In Madrid, the names of 44 women killed in domestic violence were read out. There were similar marches in Italy, Greece, and Switzerland. NASA's first robotic lander is on course to touch down on Mars on Monday night.
Because you talk about our politics.
The Mars InSight lander has been traveling through space for 6 months, but landing on the red planet is far from simple. Most missions fail in the final moments, and if everything does go to plan, the Mars InSight will study and monitor the depths of the planet until 2020.
Of Real Clear Politics. Great to see you today. We often lean on your gathering of all sorts of things in terms of approval ratings and whatnot. Let's talk about 2020 and what any of what we saw in Florida portends for that election race. The president saying, you know what, he was a gatekeeper during that, and him the judge during all these cases. We've been the last story
by Russia in 2020. The Kremlin has accused Ukraine of breaching its territorial
election, I think, shows that the parties are very
Lebu is been monitoring this for us. Lebu, so difficult in finding out exactly what is happening, but just what do we know about the situation? Well, Kash, that bit of water, the Kerch Strait, is important because it's the only way into the Azov Sea, which both Russia and Ukraine are supposed to share. Now, earlier on the Ukrainian vessels, 3 of them, tried to sail into the Azov Sea. They were blocked by a Russian tanker underneath the bridge, which really provides the only way into the water that they're supposed to share. Now, Russia then shot at the Ukrainian vessel, and there's a dispute about how many people were injured. The Ukrainians say 6 of their crew were injured. Russia says just 3 people were injured. And when it comes to responsibility, there's a lot of things going on. Both sides blame each other, as you would expect. Ukraine accuses Russia of aggression. Russia says that they were provoked by Ukraine, and Ukraine is in its own territory.
time,
said,
you saw
the
some
Ukrainian president went to Parliament
particularly in Orange County, Ronald Reagan.
There's quite a bit to watch there. And there's also been international reaction statement from the EU urging both parties to de-escalate the situation immediately. I'm not sure how much that will help. A slightly stronger statement from NATO appealing for a surrender, and also saying that it fully supports Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity, including navigational rights.
And let me briefly tell that, of course, the relationship between Ukraine and Russia is so fraught, it's very fractious. This is just going to complicate things even more.
Absolutely, and as you said, the background to this is the occupation of Crimea and the really breakdown in hostilities between the two sides. And nobody wants an escalation of rampage of these
What a powerful earthquake hit the Indonesian island of Sulawesi. All villages closed, all occupied. 2 months on, our Indonesian editor Rebecca Henschke has been back to meet the survivors from some of the communities that were wiped off the map.
Become more red or blue, is that like a policy
For the first time, 3-year-old Fiona and her surviving family have come back to see what's become of their home.
I mean, you look at a state like Missouri, which used to be the bellwether. That was the state that we looked at.
I will bring you back.
I have lots of
presidents
here,
and so many people. Members, we have lots of candidates running for lots of
It's an almost unrecognizable landscape to them, and they struggle to find where their house is buried. These satellite images of Butobo taken before and after the huge quake hit. The earth here turning to liquid. Fiona was carried to safety in the arms of her 11-year-old brother.
Rebuilding infrastructure raising income, and taking on the pervasive corruption
like an earth tsunami.
for House Democrats and will sort out the leadership. My hope is that it will be diverse.
His mother, who told them to run, was found buried holding their baby sibling. They're one of the few families that have a grave to grieve over. His family call him a hero, but it's not a title he wants. When the search was called off here, this area was declared a massacre grave. Land so significantly changed, it's unlikely communities were ever rebuilt here. Temporary houses are being built on higher ground. Families wait in tents in camps across the city in the scorching sun. In one, we meet this lady who says she's 106 years old. Lived through many earthquakes and a tsunami before. This one, by far, the strongest.
I felt tightly under my bed. My body was thrown around like a rag doll. I prayed and prayed.
What's your secret to living such a long life, living in an area prone to natural
I don't know if we can hear any of this right now.
You have to stay true to your heart. And have to watch what you say about us.
So she has an idea of
On top of the rubble where the tsunami hit, this coffee shop has been built from salvaged items, a creation by a local artist, a way, he says, to bring back life and hope to a place of horror and fear. Rebecca Henschke, BBC News, Carlo.
I think in an effort to again try to come back
Watching Newsday on the BBC, live from London,
cannot let that person they deserve to know the truth.
The Mumbai terror attack 10 years ago.
Coming up on the programme, a new scheme in New Zealand to encourage men to get their testicles checked without having to see a doctor.
Now that, as you mentioned, Matthew would have reacted to publicly, as opposed to the investigation, criticize this investigation.
Your team
that so-called Saturday Night Massacre.
President Kennedy was shot down and died August 8th. Murdered John Kennedy in a disaster for home work. He caught the imagination of work, the first of a new generation.
We have gotten this very and make sure that we protect this investigation, protect the team that Mr. Mueller has assembled.
Angela Merkel is Germany's first woman chancellor, easily securing the majority she needed.
Attempts to fly a hot air balloon had to be abandoned after a few minutes, but nobody seemed to mind what it was. As one local comic put it, it's not hot air we need, it's fire.
9 days of
people
from the White House,
they want over his administration. I expect
develop those ties with the Soviet Union
is a senior government official or what's known as a principal officer, and those positions require Senate approval.
Federal judge
Because the Senate has not consented to Mr. Whitaker serving as an officer of the United States, his designation by the President to perform the functions and duties of
Welcome
the
back,
Attorney
everyone. You're
General
watching Newsday on the BBC. He's on in Singapore.
Indeed, if allowed to stand, Mr. Whitaker's
in
appointment
London. Our
would
top
create a
stories this hour.
roadmap for the evasion of the
20 months of
constitutionally
negotiation,
prescribed
European
Senate
Union leaders
advice and
endorsed the
consent
terms
rule.
of a Brexit
Last week,
deal.
Justice Department's Office
Russian
of Legal
special forces
Counsel
have
found
seized 3
provides legal
Ukrainian
advice
Navy
to the federal
vessels
government.
off the coast
It
of
found
Crimea
that the
in a sharp
constitutionality of Whitaker's
escalation
appointment
of
is supported by Supreme Court precedent,
final of
acts
the
of Congress,
South American
as well as
Club
the
Football
actions
Championship,
of
the
acts it
Copa
traced from
Libertadores,
Democrat and
has been
Republicans.
postponed
In
for the
this case,
second day running. The match in the
are on the same
Argentine
page.
capital between the local rivals, Boca Juniors and River Plate, was first suspended on Saturday after the Boca team botched its attack. A number of players were hurt and taken to hospital.
So again, I think he decided to be
10 years ago,
thrown
on
out
the
there by the
26th of
Democrats.
November 2008, militants of the Lashkar-e-Taiba group, an Islamic militant group in
the White House
Pakistan,
to
launched
focus on the announcement
of
of permanent
They lasted
replacement
3 days.
for
They left more than
they say that's really
170 people matters.
Catherine, thank you very much. I want to bring
60 hours
former federal prosecutor at the University of
Mumbai's main railway station.
I'm reading over some notes that you gave my team.
Cast a shadow on
It
relations
kind of caught my eye as you say, well, this could be a signal.
Earlier, I was joined by Dr.
There's a
Sajjad
danger
from Health
to
from the London School of Economics, and asking about the significance of the attacks.
But you also say, him giving the answer to the written questions
attack
signal that we're supposed to be in.
involving multiple gunmen operating different cells, targeting multiple locations. And what was also significant was the fact that these gunmen were being guided by their handlers in Pakistan, who were looking at the television screens, seeing how the media was reporting the events, and from that they would then telling the gunmen where to go, who to target, who to kill. And in many ways that set a precedent in terms of how new media, social media was utilized for terrorism. And it also set the precedent for being rewarding attacks. We saw Paris a few years later, but Mumbai
we
was very
haven't
much
talked about this in a while.
That kind of attack that took place in various different locations. Interesting that you say that the attackers were monitoring, their handlers were monitoring the TVs. Of course, social media 10 years ago wasn't as prolific as used as it is now. How does that change in today's circumstances? If that was now, the use of social media would have just been overwhelming.
It's worrying to think just how much more deadly the attack could actually be if social media was as active back then as it is now. We know that terrorists use news media, social media very often as the oxygen of publicity to get attention, but also it's very much the plot and plan. And the Lashkar-e-Taiba group was seen as one of the more sophisticated Pakistani outfits, because Mumbai was not their only attack against India. They had carried out various others before, but this time they raised the stakes. They didn't just target Indians, they targeted Americans, they targeted the American Jewish Cultural Center. So there was an element of international agenda in the Lashkar-e-Taiba.
Now, I touched upon the way that this attack had then damaged relations between, difficult relations already between India and Pakistan. How do these two countries overcome what was such a horrific attack and kind of overcome that legacy of it?
In many ways, the legacy of Mumbai is still being felt ever since that attack. India and Pakistan that used to play bilateral cricket series, that stopped. They only will now play each other if it's in the World Cup. And cricket is such an important sport for both countries. But unfortunately, that has suffered. When Prime Minister Narendra Modi was elected a few years ago, he went to Nawaz Sharif, the Prime Minister of Pakistan at the time. He went to his granddaughter's wedding, and it was seen as a positive step to try and away from the legacy of Mumbai. And then there were subsequent other attacks in India, army posts in Indian Kashmir, and then again the relationship went back a few steps. So every time there looks like there's a positive sign of something deteriorates.
Dr. Gohel from the LSE reflecting on the legacy atrocity of the Mumbai attacks.
Now
let's take a moment to have a look at some of the front pages from around the world. We're going to start with the Singapore Straits Times. It's dominated by our top story, the EU countries approving of the Brexit deal. The article is actually explaining how Theresa May, the British Prime Minister, is now facing that uphill task of getting that package through a deeply divided parliament. South China Morning Post, which talks about China eyeing new openings in Taiwan after the political elections over the weekend. With the independent-leaning ruling party suffering big losses, the report says that China is slated to welcome closer relations with Taiwan. And finally, the front page of the Japan Times carries a picture of some gravity-defying art. It shows an entrance in the men's amateur pole dancing community. That's an amateur pole dancing competition in Tokyo. I'm not sure how many to look at that. He's performing a routine that simulates walking on air deeply.
48 hours, that's going to wash away a lot of the
Passengers are very interesting discovery. Never thought of getting a health check, but worried about having to, well, drop your pants. Meet the test-o-matic, and that's a boost to allow New Zealand men to have their testicles checked without having to face a doctor. Testicular cancer is the #1 cancer in young men in Western nations, and it's hope that this boost can help reduce the stigma around men getting themselves tested. A little earlier, I was joined by Graham Woodside from the Testicular Cancer in New Zealand to discuss this campaign.
Well, it's like a shower cubicle that men go into, pull the shower curtain around, and attached to the shower cubicle there's another cubicle that where there's a medical professional in there, a urologist or a GP, and when the man goes into the shower cubicle, he pulls the curtain around, he drops his pants, and there's a little hole in the wall down sort of between the thigh and the waist, and the medical professional puts his hands through there and performs an examination of the testicles. It's really quite straightforward.
Very straightforward. And how soon do they get the results?
Oh, they get the results straight away, because one of the big advantages is no eye contact. Guys are really shy about doing that, and so it's somewhat anonymous. But when the doctor has done the check, he's able to just verify that everything is okay, and then actually they both step outside the two booths, the shower cubicle and the medical booth. They step outside and they have a conversation, and the patient is reassured that in most cases anyway, that everything is okay and life can go on.
That's true, life must go on, and I agree with you, Mr. Woodside. I am shy too, so most probably I'll be trying one of these booths if they get here to Asia. But tell me, this test-o-matic booth was launched about 2 to 3 weeks ago, and about 200 men have tried it out. What has been the feedback? Are you feeling more comfortable with it, especially with the privacy issue?
We were really surprised because we launched this at a show here in Auckland called Big Boys Toys, where there's lots of fancy cars and motorbikes and boats and barbecues and all those sort of things that guys get excited about. And we thought it was just a bit of a gimmick, and it would be a great way to get a conversation going about guys getting their testicles checked. And we had about 200 guys actually line up and actually go through the booth and visit the check.
A fascinating interview there, and of course that is being launched in New Zealand, so yes, very important public health warning. Now, we're going to leave you with some images of what at first glance, if you have a look at this, well, it looks like just except this one was held in Indonesia's most notorious prisons. It's on the island of Bali. 13 bags prisoners from several different jails and detention sites in Bali, and altogether compete in this first ever prison music festival, and this festival took place on Saturday. The whole point behind it, the aim is to encourage new talent, and the winner actually gets an opportunity to record some music, songs and albums. This event was not open to the public, and it was restricted to prison officials and also journalists, but the prison hopes that this will spread the word of inmates and also talents and different organisations, and the aim is to not only encourage prisoners to get involved in music and get some kind of extra interest, but also to change perceptions of the jail and the inmates. An extraordinary concert, a rock concert in Bali's most notorious prison. From Rico, from me, from the whole Newsday team, do stay with us here on BBC World.
And now Germany has said it's going to halt arms sales to Saudi Arabia, including previously approved sales. According to the Washington Post, there's one other key piece of evidence.
Well, for days and days now we've had those persistent, chilly, easterly winds bringing at times very grey weather with some showers. A different story for the week ahead. The winds will switch direction. They'll be coming off the Atlantic, bringing spells of very wet, very windy weather, much milder weather. Monday, on the other hand, still looking fairly bright, but it will be cool. So this is what it looks like early hours of Monday morning. Still the wind's blowing out the east. You can just about make out the arrows there. The weather fronts are behind me out in the Atlantic, hundreds, if not 1,000 miles away from us. Ahead of that, the weather is quiet. Some touch of frost in the countryside, but in city centres it's around 3 or 4 degrees first thing on Monday. Now the forecast suggests on Monday that many eastern parts of the UK will be cloudy. There will be one or two showers affecting the northeast of England, maybe Yorkshire too. But if you live in western areas of the UK, there will be plenty of sunshine. So for western parts of Wales, the Lake District into western Scotland, the weather's looking absolutely fine on Monday. Now early on Tuesday we'll see the first weather fronts advancing. We'll see winds freshening in southwestern parts of the UK, and then the rain reaches us. So this is around early in the morning, southwestern England, Wales, then eventually Northern Ireland. By the middle of the afternoon, the thinking is that rain will be across central parts of the country. Many eastern parts of the country will stay dry throughout Tuesday, with some mist and fog involved. Wednesday, low pressure is well and truly in charge of our weather. You can see a big low there across the North Atlantic, stretching almost from Iberia to Iceland. We're right in the middle of this area of low pressure. These winds go gale force winds around many western coasts, severe gales in places. So they're really strong gusty winds. And on top of that, we've got spells of heavy rain. Now these are the average wind speeds. To get a gust, usually double these. So that means maybe 40-mile-an-hour gusts inland. For example, in London, much stronger further north. Look at the temperatures, 14 in London, double figures even in Scotland. Low pressure is still with us on Thursday. Weather fronts spiralling in towards the centre of the low pressure, bringing us again spells of heavy rain. Here's one spell of heavy rain during the middle of the afternoon. It would have been here in the morning, and sweeping during the day northwards. And behind it you can see there will be some breaks in the cloud, breaks between the various bands of rain. It's still mild on Thursday, relatively speaking. We don't feel like the strength of the wind. And guess what? There's low pressure over us on Friday once again. A lot of ice bars here and gale force.
I mean, there would be evidence of that. What he had said is that he wants to do a full intelligence report.
Intellectually, well, every morning the president is briefed on ongoing issues. Every morning the president receives a update. This issue is whether he has
Saturday and Sunday at 12:30 on the BBC
News Channel. Silicon Valley, you have a
follow the story. Whatever you're doing, wherever you are, you can follow every moment in depth with BBC News. Get the full story. TV.co.uk/news. Get the headlines as they happen with the breaking news alert. And keep up with events by watching the BBC News channel in the app. Follow the story wherever you are with BBC News.
Is that possible? Well, birds and those people. So there was a real let's just leave the politics aside. Where I was going is that we do have a situation where we need to be very, very clear to Saudi Arabia that
EU leaders in Brussels have approved the terms of the Brexit agreement. The focus is now on Westminster, where the deal must be ratified by the British Parliament. Prime Minister Theresa May has warned opponents of the agreement that it's the only one on offer. Russian special forces have seized 3 Ukrainian Navy vessels off the coast of Crimea,
are simply
Shah
not acceptable. How do we do that?
President is to
Well,
ask
the war
Parliament
in
to
Yemen
declare
is a major
martial law.
controversy
And this
within
story is
Congress.
trending on
I
BBC
and many of
Online.
my
New Zealand's
colleagues
introduced
and
the
Republicans
Testamatic,
want
a
to
bill
rein
that
in
allows
the
men to have their
American
testicles
support for
checked
the war
without
in
having to
Yemen.
face a doctor.
And I think we should do that,
Cancer is
not
the
only
number
because
one
of the
cancer in young
humanitarian
men
crisis
in
that has
Western
been created,
nations.
but
Let's
also
hope that
the
the bill
very,
can
very
help reduce
clear
the
message
stigma.
to MBS
Let's go to Media Stay with us.
these things are connected. And if he and his government ever again carries out any assassinations of Americans and those who are illegally in our country, they can expect very serious repercussions. We do need to make it clear, beyond just the sanctions. And I would suggest that the Yemen
Welcome
situation
to Hardcore Pants TV Sacker. Israel's seemingly indestructible Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has dodged another political bullet. After the recent flare-up of violence in Gaza, his defense minister quit, and another key cabinet hawk, Naftali Bennett, said he would go too if he wasn't given the defense portfolio. The PM called his bluff, and Mr. Bennett, who is my guest today, decided to stay after all. What's behind the chaos in Israeli politics? Are the right-wing factions putting their own interests before those of the nation?
The president pointing to the growing economy and easing tensions with North Korea. And this isn't the first time he's given himself high marks. Power panel now, this comes to right This is Jenna Ellis, attorney and director of public policy for the James Dobson family. Jenna, great to have you on the program.
Well, thank you, Erin. And I would actually agree with you, President Benjamin, but this is because it shouldn't be a political question. It should be a
Naftali Bennett in Jerusalem. Welcome to Hardcore.
What the president actually has power with within Article 2.
Great to be here, Stephen.
It's been quite a week. How would you characterize your relationship with Prime Minister Netanyahu today?
Liberty, for sanctity of life issues. He's now looking
Well, we're political adversaries, but I'm part of his government, and I support Prime Minister Netanyahu as the Prime Minister of Israel. So, you know, it's not unlike the UK, where things are also quite tumultuous. We're going to continue in order to strengthen Israel's security.
Well, let's unpick this notion that you're sitting there in a cabinet led by a guy who you now describe as an adversary. Avigdor Lieberman, who was defense minister until very recently, he described Mr. Netanyahu's decision to undertake a ceasefire with Hamas after that flare-up of violence in Gaza. He described that, Lieberman described that decision as, quote, a capitulation. Did you see it as a capitulation to terror?
I thought it was a profound mistake, and tried to fight against the notion of giving money to Hamas in order to have them stop shooting at us missiles. But I am part of the government, and I assume responsibility for all its decisions. What I think we need to do to Hamas is obliterate it, is to hit them so badly that they will not be able to continue shooting rockets and missiles at our population.
Okay, well, we'll get to your vision, your strategic vision for Gaza and elsewhere in a minute. I just want to stay with Israeli politics, if you don't mind, for the moment. This is what your own party, Jewish Home, said after this crisis inside the cabinet. They said that if you didn't get named defense minister to replace Avigdor Lieberman, you would walk. You would quit the government, and the government itself would therefore almost certainly fall. What happened?
Presidents, he's actually lost fewer.
Well, I never put that as an ultimatum. I did ask the Prime Minister to give me the mission of restoring Israel's security strength and restoring our power vis-a-vis Gaza.
No, Mr. Bennett, I need to be very clear about this. I'm looking at a quote, a direct quote from your party as an official statement. It is either the defense ministry or we are out. That's what your party said.
So as I said, when I met the Prime Minister last Friday, I told him, you know, this is not an ultimatum, but I do think that you should give me this huge task of shifting the whole direction of Israel's security plans vis-a-vis Hamas. I think we've been way too soft on them.
so sorry to interrupt you, but you're not making much sense to me, to be brutally honest, because the official statement said it's either the defense ministry or we are out. Quote, this is our ultimatum to stay in the government. So it clearly was an ultimatum.
Well, long story short, the Prime Minister decided that he's going to become the defense minister. I think it would have been a better decision to give that task to me, but I accept this. You know, you win some, you lose some, and this is one of those cases where I didn't get the task. I will support the Prime Minister and try and help him change the whole direction of Israel's security policy.
But with respect, you're now in a ludicrous position because you had this face-off with Prime Minister Netanyahu. You clearly felt you held the cards, but he called you a bluff. You caved in. You then went on to say that you believe his security policy over the last 10 years has been a complete failure, and yet there you sit as his Minister for Education and Diaspora Affairs inside his cabinet showing him respect, when clearly you believe that his policies are jeopardizing the security of Israel. To me, your position makes no sense whatsoever.
Let me help you out, Stephen. I'll explain it. I do think that the policy over the past decade has been weak on Hamas, and we have to shift gears. The Prime Minister has said that he's taking the responsibility, and he's going to become, for the first time in his history, the defense minister, and he's going to change gears. He's going to change the direction of our security policy. I want to give it a chance, and I don't want to topple a government if possible. So I'm going to help him. I care about the state of Israel more than I care about myself, and we're going to give it a chance.
Trouble is, nobody in Israel believes that. I've been looking at the Israeli media's opinion polls that have been done in the wake of this crisis. It is clear a big majority of Israelis think that you and Avigdor Lieberman were playing politics indeed, with Israel's national security. And the polls show that the public doesn't like it one little bit.
Well, I don't serve the polls, I serve Israel, and I do the very best in my power to secure Israel. I came into politics to begin with.
To be honest, the polls suggest that the Israeli people think you're not serving Israel, you're serving yourself.
I appreciate your profound care for the Israeli people, but I came to politics because of the Second Lebanon War and what I saw there. And I saw the wrong direction. I saw confusion, and what we need is clarity and a very strong policy on security, because, Stephen, we're surrounded by vicious enemies who want to, wipe Israel off the globe, and we have to fight back. We cannot be soft on these enemies.
Here's what the Times of Israel wrote, and we'll get to your strategic vision in a minute, but just to finish up with politics, the Times of Israel said this: it is difficult to imagine a worse day politically for Jewish Home Leader Naftali Bennett after he was forced to sheepishly back off from his threat to bring down the government. You see yourself as a future Prime Minister of Israel, but the fact is, over the last week or so, you've managed to humiliate yourself.
First of all, as I said, you win some, you lose some. No one has a perfect career. I had failures in high-tech before I succeeded. You don't get everything always right. That is life. That's politics. The goal in life is not to never fail. It's to get up after you have a failure. And clearly the Prime Minister defeated me, but I prefer that the Prime Minister defeats me than that Hamas defeats Israel. I'm not going to give Hamas that gift of toppling a government.
All right, well, albeit the fact you wanted to topple the government, not Hamas, but let's leave that aside for now. You've decided to stay in the government. You've said, and I'm quoting you again, the ship of Israel's security has sailed in the wrong direction. It seems to me that what you're saying is that, particularly with regard to Gaza, what Israel has done in recent years, including, let us not forget, several wars, the last of which in 2014, Operation Protective Edge, killed more more than 2,000 Palestinians. The UN says at least 65% of those Palestinians killed were civilians, and we know that hundreds of them were children. You're saying that Israel's besieging tactics in Gaza, the fact that Gaza doesn't really have power supplies that work, doesn't have clean water, has a jobless rate of 60% or more, you're saying all of this isn't tough enough, that Israel should be hammering Gaza hard. Is that it?
I can't get
I said we should be hammering Hamas hard. I have no issue whatsoever with the Gazan people. I have big issues with Hamas, whose charter and actions clearly state that they want to annihilate every Jew in Israel. They say explicitly, we want to kill all the Jews, and by the way, they shoot thousands of missiles at Israel. I think indeed Israel has to be much tougher on our enemies, and we have to, yes, kill every terrorist who shoots a rocket at us, something we've not been doing for quite a few years.
Just look at the record, Mr. Bennett. I don't want to repeat myself. The last big assault on Gaza killed more than 2,000 Palestinians, most of whom were civilian. We see in our media every week the images of the standoff between Palestinian protesters who have, sometimes they have stones, sometimes they have flaming torches, they go to the fence, they are shot by Israeli service personnel. We have seen more than 100 killed, thousands wounded, and you're telling me that you want the Israeli army and the Israeli Air Force to up the ante and kill more people? That's what you're saying.
I have a better suggestion, that the Palestinians stop shooting rockets at Israel.
I don't know if you're maybe not understanding my question, but when you respond to the rocket fire that we saw as part of that recent flare-up in Gaza, you respond with your Air Force, sometimes you respond with troops on the ground. But the reality is, and the record shows it, that the people who suffer are the civilian population, including children. That is the reality. You want more of it.
No, that is the reality, because the Hamas cowardly hides behind its own children. You know, all this talk about proportionality, if you were walking on the street and from a residential home someone was shooting at you, you'd shoot back. You wouldn't be asking who's in that home. Anyone who shoots at my kids, I'm going to shoot back. And the only proportions I can think about are on the coffin of that terrorist who's shooting at you.
Let's talk about the reality of the UN reaction. We've seen the recent, now he's retired, but the recent UN Commissioner for Human Rights, Zeid Ra'ad al-Hussein, say that Israel's response is suggestive of something entirely and totally disproportionate. And he looks at the casualty figures on the Palestinian side. We also know that the International Criminal Court is still investigating what you did in Operation Protective Edge in 2014. Do you understand that the scrutiny being brought to bear upon Israel goes right through the international community and runs the risk of tarnishing Israel's reputation in a very significant way?
Here's an idea. I would relocate the International Criminal Court to the outskirts of Gaza for just 1 week and feel what the citizens of Israel, of Sderot, feel when they're attacked by 530 rockets in 1 day. For heaven's sake, let me be clear. We have no claims whatsoever for Gaza. Let them lead their lives. We pulled out of Gaza. We pulled out our army from Gaza. We handed the keys to Mahmoud Abbas. And these people have decided to shoot at us. So when they stop attacking, will be the day there'll be peace. We have no claims. We don't want anything from them. We just want them to lead their lives and let us lead our lives. And they're not doing that. As long as they continue attacking us, we will fight back, regardless of the hypocrisy of the international institutions, which are just a big home of hypocrisy.
I understand that you have serious political ambition, and we've discussed the politicking you've been involved in recent days. But the problem is, it isn't just the international community that thinks with your uber-hawkish stance that you're going far too far. Even the Israeli army thinks you're going far too far, because in recent days you've been criticizing the army itself. You said, this is a quote from you just a few days ago, we impose countless restrictions on our own soldiers, legal as well as mental. Our fighters are more afraid of the military advocate general than they are of Hamas's leaders. You were immediately rebuked by the IDF chief of staff for saying that. He said you got it plain wrong.
To a certain degree, there seemed to be, a perfect symbiosis.
The International Criminal Court was founded after the Second World War as a lesson how to prevent genocide and those sort of situations where there's a lawless area. It has nothing to do with what's going on here. Here it's really simple.
But I'm not asking you about the
rockets at us.
I'm not asking you about the ICC
rockets at us, and we're fighting back. And we will continue to fight back, regardless of all these legal shackles. Yes, I want to remove them because I think it's immoral. It's profoundly immoral to show your second cheek to an enemy who's trying to kill you. All I'm saying is, for heaven's sake, stop trying to kill the Jews. That's all. It's a really simple suggestion, and that's all they need to do.
But it's a simple suggestion, but it is not an answer in any way to my question. My question was about the IDF Chief of Staff, Gadi Eisenkopf, rebuking you for criticizing the Army's own military advocate general. The Chief of Staff responded by saying, never mind what Mr. Bennett says, the military advocate general is part of the IDF strength. So your contention that the IDF is fighting with one hand tied behind its back is denied even by the IDF itself.
Tweeting in all capital letters, very angry things. It's understandable.
The IDF has a mission to win wars, it's to beat our enemies. Our goal as the political level is to provide them the freedom of action to go do the job. And I think that if the Jewish state wants to be here 50 years from now, 200 years from now, we have to focus on one thing, getting our enemies to understand that it'll never work. Whatever they do will not work. We're here to stay, and then, and only then, we'll be able to reach sustainable peace.
You've never been a big fan of the Europeans in terms of their view of what's happening in Israel. You've never been a big fan of the ICC. You are a huge fan, or at least you have been, of Donald Trump. You've talked about your deep respect for him. You've talked about him as Israel's best friend. Are you a little bit worried that the signals we are getting from Washington now suggest that Donald Trump has decided, and he says he's going to launch this deal of the century, a peace proposal for Israel-Palestine. He has decided, he said this in September, that he thinks a two-state solution would work best.
They work hand in glove.
Worried about
that kind of setting them up.
Well, any plan that President Trump has, we first of all will take a serious look at it, a respectful look at it. At the end of the day, we'll do what serves Israel's best interest, because we live here, we're going to live here for the next thousands of years, and we have to take care of our future. Anything that he presents to us, we'll take a serious look at.
Well, you'll have to take a very serious look when you give the degree of support that the Trump administration has given to you and your government, and this is what Donald Trump said. He said, Israel will have to pay a higher price because they won a very big thing. Of course, we're talking about the U.S. decision to move the embassy to Jerusalem. He said previously they, that is the negotiators, could never get past the fact of Jerusalem becoming the capital, but now that's off the table. There's nothing more to negotiate. So they, the Palestinians, will get something very good now because it's their turn next. That's the reality you're going to have to deal with.
I'm very supportive. I think he's right that Jerusalem has been taken off the table, and that's great news for the future of the Israeli-Palestinian relationship. At the end of the day, I don't want to speculate. We'll see what comes, and we'll take it by that.
I guess the fundamental problem that people in Israel and outside Israel ask of you, Mr. Bennett, is what is your long-term strategic strategic vision for your country. You're a guy who is absolutely steadfastly opposed to a two-state solution. You say you want to annex all of the land upon which the Jewish settlements sit in the occupied West Bank, but you don't want to offer citizenship to the Palestinian population of the West Bank. To many people inside Israel, and one could go back to former prime ministers like Ehud Olmert, Barak, and also leader of the opposition, Tzipi Livni, they say that if Israel pursues your vision, it will end up being an apartheid-style state.
They're flatly wrong. There is a two-state solution right now. There's this Palestinian full-fledged state in Gaza, and it's been a huge and unmitigated disaster. So you tried it out once. We're not going to try it out again on a bigger scale when it failed so colossally in Gaza. They have everything. A government, they have a tract of land.
If you intended to lay siege to the West Bank as you did to Gaza, there might be some relevance to that, but of course that's all on the table because you've got all these Jewish settlements which you intend to annex. It comes back to this basic question. If Israel pursued your vision, you would end up with a population before too long that was majority Arab Palestinian, and yet you would not countenance giving them a full free voice in a democratic system. So you would be violating democratic values and international law.
And phony news.
Yeah, I'm touched by Vikir. You know, in Gaza, you're confusing cause and consequence. The moment the Gazans decide to stop fighting Israel, there is no siege, by the way. Right now they can bring in as many trucks of food or clothing or you name it. It's unlimited. They don't have a lot of money there because Mahmoud Abbas is trying to starve them. So first of all, there is no siege, but even what there is, the moment they decide to turn into a peaceful country, they can have anything they want because we're out of there. But it's been a terrible disaster. And we're not suckers to try and do that yet again at a bigger scale in the Judea and Samaria.
I appreciate it.
This is my future vision.
Yes.
Go ahead.
No, I'd appreciate it if you'd address that point, that you want the land, you're determined to annex it, even though that would be illegal under international law, but you don't want to give the Arab Palestinian population, which would very soon be a majority in the whole land of this future Israel, you do not want to give them a full voice. It would violate democratic values and international law.
No, you haven't read my plan. In the areas that we would apply Israeli law, those Palestinians in those areas, which numbers between 50,000 and 100,000 Palestinians, they would be offered Israeli citizenship. So actually, factually, you're wrong. The rest of the territory would become an autonomy governed by them, managed by them. They have everything they want. It would be less than a state in the sense that they cannot have an army, and they cannot have an influx of 7 million descendants of Palestinian refugees and create an overflow demographic disaster in the land of Israel.
We're almost out of time. One last simple question which takes us back to the beginning. You made a power play against Benjamin Netanyahu. It failed. Do you still see yourself as the future Prime Minister of Israel?
After the Netanyahu era, I intend to become Israel's Prime Minister. As long as Netanyahu is around and he's doing a fairly good job, I intend to stand beside him to help them, hopefully as the defense minister in the next government.
How long do you give him? How long do you think this Netanyahu era, as you put it, is going to last?
I have no idea. You know, he's got genes of his parents led long lives, and I wish him a very long life. And as long as the Israeli public supports him, he'll continue being the Prime Minister of Israel.
Dr. Bennett, I thank you very much for being on Hot Talk.
His attempted alteration to American
Thank you very much.